Hey, hey, hey. Let me put this one over to my other page real fast.
We are back at it again with Weekly Thunder, and it happened just to fall on a Thursday this time, so welcome in, everybody. As you guys know, these are readings for the collective unless otherwise specified by you guys via donations. So here we sit.
So here we sit. Hold on, let me get it back on comments, okay? Hey, Ward. Before we started, I had a card come out right off the bat, so I'm just going to throw this one out. And it really fits because, lordy, 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 all I can say is this holiday has been wow. I mean, just the energy has been just exhausting and wow. The very first thing that came out was cosmic influence. There is definitely cosmic influence going on. It has Mahat, thoughts, and sorry, I cannot even pronounce this one. Kelly, you're good with the Egyptian gods, so you may know it. It's Khepera.
Oh, Capfree, yeah, the scarab beetle. Yep.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm just used to him being the beetle, not known by that name. Because I'm not that far into the Egyptian. But I mean, definitely cosmic influence is going on. And I mean, I try to tell people when I do readings a lot, when they look at it from an angel point of view, I'm like, when angels are coming in to help, whether it's angels, influence, whatever the situation may be, it's not done in that foo-foo way. It's not done in that gentle way of like, oh, and you were blessed. No, I mean, it doesn't happen that way. In order to get you where you need to be, there's got to be some destruction. There's got to be some movement going on to get you where you need to get. And the cosmic influence is definitely taking place, because I'm going to be doing Breaking the Cage, where I do the weekly forecast. I'm going to be doing that at 11 o'clock live, and I will be getting into 2023. And we are just entering like second wave of, and it's on, people. So yes, cosmic influences are definitely trying to get you where you're supposed to be and where we're not getting on our own. Sandy, I will come back and I will do your reading here in just a few, since I see that you're here, but I'll pull another one for the collective first before I jump on your actual reading. All right. Hi, Luna.
All right, so I'll yank your cards here in a second. Let's see. I have 7 of Wands. Ooh. There we go. 7 of I can't remember. So 7 of Wands, this is a very interesting rendition of it. Normally, the staffs are flying through the air, or you've got people battling one another with the staffs or the wands, whatever have you. Wands speak to communication, and here there's a stillness within the woods. It's, to me, this speaks as a warning, because 7 of Wands traditionally is of competition, conflict. So make sure your words aren't minced. Make sure that you're getting your point across. Also, too, just with the stillness of the woods in this deck, it speaks to, if people are putting that kind of evil eye on you, you need to watch out. When people are shooting you dirty looks, or when you go to not necessarily brag about what you've done, but you're like, hey, I've accomplished this, 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 and this in this week. And they're just like, watch out for shit like that, because that can kind of stunt you from what you're trying to accomplish further.
All right, guys, what I got is the star card. However, I got it in reverse. And there was another reader that I used to listen to from time to time, and I love the way he would pronounce the energy for the star card. You don't get the star card without going through hellfire first. Well, it's coming in reverse, which means you're still going through that hellfire. All right? But that's okay. This is, I'm sorry, but we're at the punch in the gut. Did you get the freaking memo? Let me make sure your eyes are open, because you can't get to that wish. You can't get to the hook that brings you into the light and into your next thing until you learn what that shift is that's going to get you out of the hellfire and into the star. So pay attention to whatever is coming, whatever synchronicities are having, your intuitions. The light is coming, but you have to be on the right side of understanding that inner evil, that inner denial that's kept you from moving forward. You're being shown everything you need to see.
I have Three of Cups here. Three of Cups speaks to celebration. Three of Cups speaks to unity. To quote that cheesy shit from the 90s show Charmed, the power of three. It's normally, there's three figures here. There's three fae within the cups, but traditionally it's made Mother Crone type deal with Three of Cups normally in a lot of other decks. Here though, it speaks to unity. So we need to have that going into this year. If you see people tripping and falling, as long as they're not sitting there and having you by your ankle and trying to drag you into their shit, you need to see if you can raise them up. Give them that little boost. Give them some TLC, a little zhuzh something. Even if it's a compliment of, hey, you know, this looks nice. Hey, you know, whatever. A little compliment goes a long way. So, hi guys. Just make sure that we're not fluffing people up, but we're just giving them a little bit of a TLC.
Give me just 1 second. I'm trying to double check something. Well, I'll check that in a second. Let me go over what I had. This is for you, Sandy. The very first, I had to pull one card from 3 different decks. For this, more or less. The first thing that's coming out is Ancient Wisdom. And okay, this is it's funny because it's Ancient Wisdom, but to me this looks like it's supposed to be like trees. Okay, it's the idea, like in my mind, of what I think everybody else sees when I see this card. But what I personally see, if you followed me for any amount of time, is that cheetah sign. The cheetah sign is always about changing the DNA for me. It's upgrading your tree, upgrading your vibrational frequency. The Ancient Wisdom is here for the upgrade. However, this is Jane the Maid. It speaks to you about humility, disillusionment, and becoming the champion. But when I picked up this card, I didn't read Jane the Maid. What I saw was Joan of Arc. And understanding to trust your intuition. Yes, there might be some humility. There's some crap that we have to learn as we're moving forward. We're earning that ancient wisdom. We're earning our patents of nobility. But this is taking you in the right direction of coming into your own personal Joan of Arc. But you definitely need some you time. It's isolation. You need some you time, some alone time, some pampering, some meditation. If this world is getting too much and messing with that, take a break. It's definitely a time where we need pampering so we don't get caught up in this vicious that's going on outside of us. But I do hope that that helps.
Okay. So, Luna, we have Winter Soldier from the Marvel Oracle. His key term is always by your side. So this is speaking for your guides, guardians, your spiritual group, etc. Then we have Nine of Cups. We have Three of Cups joining us again. And then we have the Fool. So with the 2 cups, we have Nine of Cups, which is about improving on ourselves. We're almost to that perfect 10 of Cups where, you know, it's rainbows and joy and all that stuff. It's about being proud of what you've accomplished, not necessarily being smug or arrogant or anything like that, but giving yourself a pat on the back, spoiling yourself a little bit. Three of Cups, like I said, speaks to unity once again, speaks to how your spirit team has your back. They may be giving you a proverbial forehead flick at the moment to dive into something new, with the Fool bringing up the rear in this reading. So The Fool speaks to new beginnings. The Fool dares you to take a leap of faith. It's not anything is gonna hurt you. It's not anything dangerous. It may seem spooky or, holy shit, it's outside my wheelhouse, and you may be sweating a little bit, but your guides have your back. They're there to kind of pick you up by the collar, and when you start to backpedal, they're gonna be like, nope, you gotta go over here. Nope, come on, keep going. So you've got something new cooking up, which is gonna be pretty badass.
Oh yeah, Luna too. I've got to go back in. I'm sorry, I got so busy yesterday. I meant to listen to your music. I'm gonna listen to it tonight, and then I'll get back to you on it. Because Luna's starting to make music again and stuff, and I'm probably gonna want to share it with people if she'll let me. But I haven't made it that far yet. I just was so busy yesterday. And I wanted to let you know I wasn't avoiding you or ignoring you. What I got is Scarab. Considering the very first card that came out tonight was Cosmic Influence. This is a rebirth time, people. It is rebirth. That's the way I always see it. I'm sure Kelly's going to add more to this. But for me, when he comes out, this is speaking to you about making the preparations and going through the motions of the rebirth. But remember, rebirth is, don't get comfortable now. Don't get comfortable now, because we're in a preset for another preset. Trust me. I'm going to explain that again, like I said, when I do Breaking the Cage here in another hour and a half, something like that. But what I've got coming out right now is we are definitely rebirthing. We're moving forward, but we're going through the motions, and you're going to feel it, but stay the course is what I'm getting with this.
So scarabs also traditionally, especially Kefri, are known for being messengers in Egyptian lore. They transcend time. If you know Doctor Who and pop culture, Doctor Who had the time beetles when you go through this time streams and things like that. So beetles are known in a lot of places for just transcending, because, I mean, the hard shell of a beetle, they're supposed to be sturdy. So normally with scarab beetles, they were also revered on headdresses and things like that. So they spoke to third eye and crown, if you're into chakras and things like that, just due to overall ascension and getting that much close to godliness as you possibly can.
Larry says they're also linked to gravity.
I believe it. Okay.
Larry throws out things out of nowhere, and I'm like,
Larry the legend. Jessica, I'm shuffling for you right now.
I'm not trying to jump over Kelly. I'm letting her do her thing.
All good. Okay. So from Marvel Oracle, we have the lovely Emma Frost, one of my favorite X-Men characters. Her keyword is, if you think I'm cold now, just wait. So she speaks to a little bit of being on the short end of the stick. If you guys read Marvel Comics, you know that Emma Frost and Cyclops get shit on pretty much all the time, thanks to whoever's writing them. It's just how it is. She is a very sensual character. She's a very, also too, she's an empath. She's a psychic telepath, but also she could turn to diamond. And it's one of those things that she's revered for, turning into diamond. She's revered to being that frigid kind of figure, quite literally. So that's something to keep in mind, because we have Six of Swords. Six of Swords is not, you know, the kindest looking card here, because we all know if that bitch right there, that little kid, went to pull a sword out, they'd probably end up in the bottom of the lake. So it's one of those of just being careful. Make sure that the waters that you're traveling on are not troubled. Make sure that you have everything in check, because you do have an end goal that you really need to achieve by about mid-February. You need to get the wheels turning now, because, I mean, shit, we're practically in January. Nine of Cups popped out for you as well, which speaks to harmony and just making sure that you're proud of everything you've accomplished, as you should be. You've busted your ass and you've made a very big turnaround. in the past few months, which that's something that you do need to pat yourself on the back for. And then we have Four of Pentacles, which speaks to improvements on a more financial scale in this sense. So maybe it's getting a promotion, getting your job lined up in a little bit better order so you have more free time for yourself, things like that. But just make sure you have a little bit of a nest egg too for whatever's coming up in February.
Alrighty, guys. Jessica, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do yours in just a minute, but I'd already started pulling for the collective. So I'll get back to you in just a moment. This one came out with 2 cards, and I'm not the slightest bit surprised. What came out is from my astrological deck. This is the 10th house. Dude, Capricorn is off the freaking chain right now. All right? It's off the chain, and not necessarily in a good way. It's the outer world. It's the three-dimensional world. It's the society that you know as you've known it, whether it's good or bad. Okay? And it's got Mercury, which just went retrograde today. It's got Venus, which is plowing through here like nobody's business. You've got Pluto, which is going to be leaving in, 3 months? So it's in, after 18 years or something like that. It's like, this is what I'm freaking, let me slap you now with what you haven't gotten through your head. And then the sun's here. So it's the outer world going, I am your big fat mirror of everything that you create in your life, whether you like it or not. And then it's coming with Neptune. This couldn't be more perfect, because look at that word. It says sacrifice. This is your magic. This isn't, if you're doing it right, sacrifice is not something you are giving up, because you never could lose what was you. It's reclaiming and understanding the power that is you, so you can create. You're just being shown all of the creations that are wrong, so you can actually step into the power of your magic. All right, let's go. I'm going to pull for you in just a second.
So we have Seven of Swords in reverse. Seven of Swords speaks to, honestly, con artists, con men, deceit. A lot of that. With it being reverse, it's an inflection of the self. So make sure you're not lying to yourself. Make sure you're not coming off two-faced to people. If people have issues with you, you need to confront them and make sure that things are squashed and sorted out. We don't need to carry and harbor any other bullshit into the next year. We really, really, really need to just clean house. And if that means stop talking to people and cut ties, so be it. Shit happens, and it's time to move on and better the self.
Jessica, I'm still pulling for you. Janet, I see that you sent 5 and you're saying LSF, but is that meaning you want me to pull, or are you wanting Kelly to pull? So please let me know, or us know, so we can validate that. I'm gonna have to pull your last card in a second. Since I was talking, they won't honor it. The first thing that I'm getting, Jessica, brain dead, sorry, brr, is water. This is your emotional sensitivity. Now remember, your water energy is way more powerful than we ever know. Your water energy is your emotions. It also ties with your moon energy and the shifting of the moon. Plus, lately, right here in Fredericksburg, y'all have seen that we've been having a lot of rain, which means the waters have been higher. And when the waters are higher, our sensitivities are higher. It's not just the holidays, okay? So this is your moon energy, your water energy. It is what you create with it, what you are creating, whether you realize it or not. It is speaking of understanding the ebb and flow of your own emotions, controlling them, versus the tsunami that also wants to come out, and where you're going to take it. Because there was a third card, but I chose that I wanted to ask a different one, and I'm still going to go back and ask another one. Neptune, again, is coming out for you. This is your magic. What are you going to do with it? You have the ability to do anything in the precious little world you want, whether it's good, bad, healthy, or not. But will you choose love? Venus, I do not see as love, but the card states it's love. I always state that Venus, for one, Venus is also, if you really get into your history, Venus is also known as Lucifer, the morning star. So this is also speaking to you about your lust and the things that you care about. What drives you, honey? Where do you want to take this energy? What are you building from it? Because the card that I threw back was the Tree of Life. And it is your full circle. It's your full circle of your Venus. What do you do with your sensitivity? Is it serving you or not? And can you control it? Because when you can control your inner chaos, that's when you harness your power.
So I have Five of Cups. Five of Cups speaks to remorse, regrets, things like that. This time of year can be really heavy on that. The thing that we need to take away from Five of Cups is not so much the regret or anything like that. It's to be grateful and thankful for the 2 cups that still remain upright and full, even though the other 3, the majority, have spilled over. It's about just weighing out and cutting off the fat and getting back to basics sometimes. But it's about just being grateful instead of sitting there and wasting the effort and mourning something that you can't get back, you can't repair, or whatever.
Janet, I see that you're saying, never mind, you're having a problem with Cash App. So I went ahead and I pulled a card for you because I know you and I know the situation of what was taking place. So what I'm getting is the Prince of Discs. And in this card, this is a Chariot of Earth energy. It is asking you to ground your manifestation. It is asking you to really put a purpose into it. To really, ground it, fester in it, strengthen that energy of where you're taking that chariot. Make sure that you're not just letting your energy, your emotions fly it. Make sure you're driving it, not it driving you.
So we have Strength coming out, beautiful major. Strength speaks heavy to Leo energy. Normally, the imagery is of a young lady putting her arm or her head or some limb or something in the lion's mouth just as a feat of strength, as a test to dare the lion to maybe bite down. The thing with strength is making sure that you are leading the lion and that the lion is not leading you. That's the main thing. Don't let your temper and your emotions run rampant, because you need to keep that cool head with whatever's going on. Even if it seems like, you know what, today's the day, I'm gonna let this shit fly. Think about it. Think about it long and hard before you just lash out.
All right, guys, I have 2 cards that came out, and I think it's interesting the way that they came out, because I would have put it the other way, but Spirit did not put it the other way. They put the first one, Mother of the Dawn. And this is about beauty, compassion, growth, a new beginning. But how in control are you of that beginning you're creating? Because what's coming out is Abaddon. It is speaking to you about pestilence, coming out corruption, coming out malice. Like I said, this has I said it when I was just speaking of, the last couple ones. Kelly said it, I've said it. You've got a lot of malice energy coming out, a lot of that negative, let me just, stab you in the gut, heart-wrenching roar coming out of people. But that's what's manifesting, because that's the vibration that's going on. Mm-hmm. Only we can change that vibration by being in control of our power.
Yeah, that whole universal or communal or group tiredness of the collective, that shit's real. That's a thing. Like, everybody talks about it. It's like, damn, like the past year and a half, 2 years, just everybody's been exhausted. Everybody's been burnt out. And that's not ideal, because that's when we start to let other things take over, whether it be in the 3D or otherwise. And that's something to be very careful about. So we have 8 of Wands. Eight of Wands speaks to hastiness. It's about getting your shit done and getting it done now. This is speaking more for the beginning of the year and your manifestations. What do you want to accomplish? What are the goals you've set up with, the New Year's resolutions? We need to hold ourselves accountable for whatever we want to blossom forth in the new year. That's something that really needs to be done this year. We can't just sit there and just skip it like we have before. We really need to crack down. Yeah, they have been extra feisty. Shit's been wild.
Yeah. It's been, like I was saying last week in the breaking of the cage, I was like, I even had Hellhorse starting to come through. I'm like, this shit is getting like to the fan of, we're not fucking playing games anymore, people. Janet, I don't know if you realize, but I just noticed that your money did come through. So give me a minute and I'll pull 2 more cards for you. But what I had pulled for the collective is movement into balance. And this is incredibly important right now because, like I said, there's so much of that pestilence, so much of that energy, of that negativity, of that roar that's coming out right now. You've got to be able to get an escape, literally. I mean, I'm not the best person. I'm just like everybody else. And earlier today, I was out with my mom, and I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, I'm gonna freaking snap. Like, I gotta get home and be away from you people. Not you, but you know what I'm saying. It's just the abundance of the energy, and the empath picks it up. And as we start to wake up, we're picking up that energy more and more and more. And you need to know when you're at that 5, 4, 3, 2, I'm not in control right now, so I need to get to where I can get myself right. And you need to get into that pampering, into that balance, into that meditation, I don't care, take a bath, maybe go for a walk, maybe it may be winter, but maybe you can still walk by the beach. I don't know, but do what you've got to do to keep you right, because otherwise this is going to get corroded.
We have 2 of Swords in reverse. This speaks to just delays, tripping yourself up. Make sure, once again, I don't know how many times I've hammered that home in the readings throughout since we've started, of just making sure that you are your priority, you are number one, but also to make sure that, your actions and things like that are not taken as an act of aggression or whatever have you, because, people don't have your best interest at heart. You should have your best interest at heart at the end of the day. So we really just need to make sure we're not tripping ourselves up, and making sure that other people are not tripping ourselves up either.
Give me 1 more second, Janet. Alrighty. You also got the cat energy coming in for you in general, because I got one like right here going, like breathing in my face. So you have the Prince of Swords. Now I write all over my deck because I don't remember crap. I just don't. But Spirit is specifically saying they're specifically pointing out from off of my stuff, forcefully. You are at a stamina to pounce forcefully, and fierce crusading energy. The fierce crusading character, personality of this energy is what they're saying that you are. They're giving me, along with that, is the Princess of Wands. Again, this always speaks to me, even though it's not a cheetah. For me, this card turns into the cheetah. This is speaking to you of your DNA upgrading and coming into a new place. It is speaking to you of courage and coming into the power to claim what you have to claim, whether it's your power, your energy, your drive of where you're taking this. It's the conviction and becoming self-reliant as you're moving forward. But they do warn you, keep your balance. Keep your balance, because it can get tilted and you can get off center and it can mess things up.
So Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands speaks to communication. It speaks to new beginnings and creativity. If you are looking to collaborate with somebody, make sure that it is 50-50 right down the middle. Make sure that, you know, they're not sitting there and they're trying to inch and push you, you know, to 60-40 or even worse. It's about making sure that you get your due for the effort and the work you put into it.
Hold on, guys. I'm pulling out a card. The pentagram. This is your magic. It is all of your direction, and it's calling back all of your power. It is all directions, all space and time. It also speaks to us of the son of the Seal of Solomon. It speaks to us of pretty much anything that's ever been magically, spiritually thought of and created. This is coming into not just cosmic energy, because we're seeing right now, for those of us who have woken up, this 3D is just crap. We've allowed it to be crap for so long. We were taught that that's what it was. We're learning to put the badge of our own selves back on, to activate. This is saying, really, I've got Metatron in my head going, take the doubt out, people. Take the doubt out and come back into yourself and create. In case Kelly wants to say anything else, because I know Kelly.
I mean, the pentagram speaks, or it was pentagram or pentacle? Pentacle?
Pentagram.
Weird. Okay. So it should be pentacle, because I could have sworn I saw a circle on there, but maybe that was me.
You did, but it says pentagram.
All right. So the pentacle, also too, the circle around it is to bind. It's to keep everything necessary within, and to keep all intrusive things that try and worm in out. So that's something to keep in mind as well with that. As she spoke of the Seal of Solomon and things like that, same thing goes, where they have the circle around whatever, the symbols, the names, the signs, whatever. There's always a big circle around it to keep excess shit out. And that's what we need to do. We need to kind of filter out all the other nasty shit. And then we have the Empress in reverse. The Empress speaks to normally just kind of, she's got that head bitch in charge energy, of course, but it speaks to keeping your head held high while there's certain delays, there's certain issues and hiccups. You need to keep your countenance. You need to keep very chill. Don't lose your head like the Queen in Alice, where she's just over here freaking out and shit. Here, with it being in reverse, the delays need to stop. You need to put forth the effort in making sure that things continue the way that they're supposed to be. Unfortunately, shit happens where they're out of our control, but we need to try and manifest, and we need to try and pull and rein in things that are in our control to use to our advantage.
Angela, bring in what you're saying also. And a lot of us work in where we're dealing with clients or just the public. Mm-hmm. And you've got to remember, trust me, I'm a Leo. I have to watch it. Even when I don't mean to cause drama, it's drama. Okay? And it's just the way that it goes. And you're right. It is hard to not necessarily say the things that you are wanting to and thinking, but you've got to really focus on, that's their issue. That's their problem. Maybe they're an idiot. Maybe their whole world fell apart. Maybe they're just a dickhead. Maybe they deserve the crap that's going on. And this is part of that empath problem. You just got to wash that shit over you and send it on back. It's just, what was that childhood saying? You know, the rubber bands, child glue, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, I'm rubber glue, whatever.
Yeah. Think that crap. I don't care. I mean, those little nursery rhymes have some really big, powerful magic in them. And a lot of people just avoid and don't realize that. I mean, it's some of the easiest, simplest, powerful magic coming from your mind going, that shit ain't gonna bounce. It's gonna bounce off me and stick right back to you. So I understand what you're going through. Keep doing it, but try to remember their problems aren't about you. So let them have it right on back. Don't suck that shit up into you.
Right.
Okay, what I got, and Janet, I will go after Mike's in just a minute, but I'd already pulled this card. Ace of Wands. Now, everybody knows if you've seen me with this deck before, I don't really do this on this deck the way that the cards are. For me, this is a book of knowledge. And all of the knowledge is coming out of it and being shown, and the light is being shown. You can open it up in a form. It's a book of, like I said, it's a book of knowledge, a book of shadows. But you're the book. Are you opening you up? Or are you still looking for the spell that's going to teach you how to do it? Are you looking for the spell? Because it's already inside of you. The light is already there. It's ready to come out. It's ready to combust. But this is about our truth and acknowledging how that knowledge works. And like I said, this is a very hard growth place. But wands are all about, taking the action, taking that fire and making it so. It's a very positive thing. But this is, you've got to stand by your power, stand by your knowledge, stand by your word, and keep yourself in check if you want to be that book.
And sometimes, that whole adage of to know, to dare, to will, to be silent. Sometimes it's key to be silent. Sometimes that's the best form of knowledge, is just to be silent. As much as we want to pop off and shoot our mouths off and everything else, silence can speak just as many volumes, if not more. So we have Nine of Wands in reverse. Nine of Wands in reverse. Nine of Wands speaks to indecision. Wands, we talked about, I think, 7 and 8 of Wands actually earlier in other pulls, where it's more conflict and things like that. Here, with it being indecision, with it being in reverse, we need to make sure that we have everything lined up in the way it needs to be. We need to make sure that certain things where we're like, I don't know, or you have people just trying to hiss in your ear and be like, oh, you don't need to do that because of this and that. Fuck them. Like, you need to do what's best for you. You need to get your head out of your ass and get it moving and figure out, what you need to do. Like, now, you should have did that shit 30 seconds ago. And if you have people that are sitting there and when you go to do whatever and you're thriving and they're talking shit, it's just because of jealousy. Sheer jealousy. That's all that is. So don't sit there and let that halt you either while you're already in the process.
That's right. Definitely. All right. This one's from Janet. This one's for Mike. Except for it's 2 cards, because that's just the way that it works, because they made me go pull another deck. What I got is Spider. Now, I like the spider, but the spider has many different messages, okay? The spider speaks to us of past, present, future. It speaks to us of the web that we are weaving. It speaks to us of being the creator of the web we are weaving. And many different other mythologies and stories come in behind this, okay? This is why I think they directed me towards the second card, Hathor. This is speaking to you of getting into your meditation, getting into your actual communication and your culture, and figuring out what your spider's doing. Is the spider speaking to you about the direction that you're moving, helping you to weave the weave? What is the spider's message? You might also want to flat out look it up, because it might be a guide for you right now. But with Hathor, this is speaking to you of coming into harmony, coming into growth, coming into moving forward. But there's a lesson, a message here between the two of what you're supposed to do. And I would tell you specifically, look into the spider more, do more meditation, and allow it to teach you what Hathor wants you to do. Because it's about moving forward. It's about a rebirth in some form.
So spiders normally, for whatever reason nowadays, are called trickster energy and things like that. That's not necessarily true. They're more tacticians. They know how to get around things and avoid certain dangers. And they also know how to keep busy simultaneously. So while it seems like there's some deception going on, that's not always true. So keep that in mind when you go to look up spider medicines and things like that, and the entities that spiders are normally associated with as well. We have Wheel of Fortune, which is pretty badass. Wheel of Fortune speaks to cycles. It speaks to everything rotating as it should. There's nothing out of place here. The dials are the way they're supposed to be. The runes are the way they're supposed to be. Everything's good. You have the Sphinx guarding everything to make sure that it's just so. That's what we need to do. We need to make sure that everything remains just so for our benefit. And make sure that, you know, if you can spare a little bit of that for your community around you, perfect. If not, make sure that you have your shit in order first.
I hear you, Janet. Okay, the next card that I got is duality. Duality comes in many different things. Masculine, feminine. I mean, light, dark. I mean, there is two different sides to pretty much every story, if not more. Okay? But this is speaking to you of understanding the tension of the helplessness that many of us are going through or feeling as the world around us is shifting. But it's reminding you your duality here is your wholeness is part of understanding that shift, part of the growth of the bigger picture here. It's you have not been forgotten or forsaken unless you believe it. There is your divine source is still in here, but you've got to get past the tensions you're still believing in, holding on to, giving access to, giving power to. Because there's so much of that negative energy right now that's just slowly coming in. And before you know it, you're like, when did I get in this dust crap of this shit? Like I said, this is pampering time. The duality is important. You've got to isolate yourself, step back, and give yourself that boost, that healthy energy. Get you back up to where you need to be and start scratching out that rejection, that helplessness. Because that's all part of the funk trying to keep you from actually moving forward. It's also the lesson of, did you learn it yet? Nobody can take anything away from you unless you give it.
Funny enough, we have Three of Pentacles in reverse, which speaks to unwillingness to learn, unwillingness to advance, and just stay right where you're at. This card's kind of interesting here. For this deck. Okay. But the message remains that we just need to make sure that we are advancing. We're continuing to build those pentacles, as we see in the story, in the Journey of the Fool, while he goes through the element of earth for the pentacles. It's about busting your ass, having that hard work pay off. So at the end, you can finally kick back and be like, look at all this shit I did, and I did it for myself. So why stop now? What's making you stop? What's holding you back? Is it yourself or is it an outside party?
Influence is a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, influence is a big thing for so many people. I mean, even the best of us, and I'm not saying like I'm the best, but I mean, for those of us who've been practicing our stuff for a long time, before you know it, I call it on the empath energy, I call it the chameleon energy. So many times we get, you know, in the crowd of people, and before we know it, we're like agreeing with shit we never even meant to agree with. It's the influence that is coming around, and the influence of the energy right now is very crappy. So, like I said, it's very crappy right now. So it's important for you to know yourself, to believe in yourself, and to know when that influence is just going fucking wonky, and be like, yeah, I need some me time. All right, what I'm getting is the Hierophant. Now, again, I don't necessarily see the tarot the way everybody else does. I kind of connect it more with Hebrew. It's just the way it is for me. And the Hierophant also connects with the nail. I have my own special connections with the nail. The nail, when it's the Hierophant, is speaking to you of connecting the dots. It is connecting what needs to be connected in your outer world in order to make it so. For this, the Hierophant is speaking of, are you nailing the right things, or are you nailing a coffin? It is asking you, are you putting yourself in the Hierophant position? Are you creating by using that precious nail to put it in the right connections? Or, Kelly's heard me say this a million times. Every time I get a rusty nail, Spirit's telling me I'm no longer connected to that and I've been set free. So, do you need to set yourself free, or do you need to nail it back in?
Hierophant's also a great teacher. The Hierophant speaks to you having experience to know enough to guide others. Maybe you see somebody going into a situation that unfortunately you've already been in. Maybe you can help them out. Not necessarily go back into the bullshit and relive things, but just, you know, give them a swat on the ass so they can make it through. Sometimes that's all people need, is just outside, like we talked about, outside influence to help them out. Sometimes outside influence isn't always a bad thing if it comes to, you know, really spooky or scary, life-threatening situations and shit like that. So keep that in mind. So funny enough, we got the tower. Yay! So the tower. So the tower is my favorite card ever. The tower speaks to chaos. It speaks to necessary chaos, because as that tower falls, you're gonna. All right. As that tower falls and Belle just chokes to death, we can take out of the rubble the remains of the tower and rebuild it how we want. So the shit that was up on the 5th floor, we can have it on the 1st floor. We can do whatever we want. It is a total phoenix rising from the ashes moment. It is rebirth in the most beautiful way possible. So the tower shouldn't be necessarily feared. So just starting my life tonight. Damn. Sometimes that's how it would be. But yeah, the tower isn't something to be feared. It's something that should actually be revered a little bit more.
I will state also, I love the tower also, but in the energies that you're seeing, because I keep hearing people going, I really hope this just ends with the holiday. No, you're going to be in the tower till pretty much overall on the society level. The tower is going to be there pretty much until March. You're going through a major transformation. It's like I said, don't get comfortable now. Don't get comfortable now, because when you're in your comfort zone, you are not growing. The tower is redirecting everything for the rebuild. Allow the shit to crumble. Just know that you're rebuilding, and if you stay on that proper thinking, then it's going to be fine. Along with that, this is the second time tonight that this has come out. It is movement into balance. Like I said, movement into balance. This is making sure that you're not allowing those emotions to run wild, not allowing it to turn around and start to recreate. I'll be the first one to say, as a Leo and as a Cancer moon, my emotions, my anger, my temper, all of that will make me I will turn around and discreate everything. And now I've got to work 5 times as hard to turn it into a positive, because I started accidentally creating negative because my mind went into that. And then I got to go, oh shit, I did that. Now I got to rechange this, restart all of my wheels, and work it to the positive. Stay ahead of that as much as you can. I mean, we're humans. We make these mistakes. We will create from our unconsciousness and our emotion and whatever we're putting out without realizing it. But this is asking us to come back into balance. Acknowledge when the balance is off tilt. Acknowledge it. Like I said earlier tonight, I was out with Mom. 5, 4, 3, 2. I got to get the hell away from these people and go home. Sometimes that's exactly what you got to do. Get yourself into your balance, because it's going to keep you balanced for the next couple months. It's going to be a necessary situation for you to continue to endure.
Oh yeah, because I shuffled my happy little ass off with the tower back out. But we have the Chariot in reverse, because I wanted clarification as to why the hell the tower kept popping out. Was it a message for me personally? Because I do have deities that I associate with the tower. But no, we have the Chariot in reverse, which speaks to, sorry, your ass is getting yanked into something, whether you like it or not. So you need to be prepared. The Chariot upright speaks to coming to that fork in the road, having the choice to go down whatever path you choose. That's the beautiful thing about it. You're choosing it. You have the reins of the chariot. With it being inverted, you don't have a choice. You need to go, and now's the time. Stop spinning your wheels. Stop making excuses for shit. You're gonna have to do it one way or another, and you might as well prepare yourself now rather than just, you know, sitting there trying to do it and you're tripping and fumbling all over yourself. And I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for tonight.
I'm going to end it with this pretty much. And it's funny because it's just green, and maybe it's just the way my mind works, because green typically for me is all about growth. But when I picked this up, I see the evil witch on
Wizard of Oz.
What's the gold road? Wizard of Oz. I'm like, the gold road. I'm seeing this. It's an hourglass. But what I'm seeing with this, with the evil witches, it's an hourglass. The evil witch is only going to be here temporarily. Don't become her. Don't follow her. Realize this is nothing more than the time ticking away. This is more about those who are losing their power over whatever it is they thought they had power of. And all of that energy is manifesting and coming out and just into a cloud of smoke that's just growing into bigger funk. It's only a matter of time. And you can create whatever you want with that time. But if you stay focused, it's going to go. You just have to keep your power, your control, and realize it's nothing more than, it ain't my circus, it ain't my monkeys. Mm-hmm. But I think that's it. You got anything else you want to say?
I'm a Scorpio, so I'd kill somebody with the chessboard. No,
I'm sorry. It's the fact that you said that. She's like, because of what she said, she flipped and stuff. And like I said, my temper is bad enough. I threw the whole coffee table at my husband before we split up. Like I said, I had to learn to control my temper very much. But that's really what it is. It's coming back. I always say it, everybody. I'm like, if you can't harness your if you can't control your chaos and understand your inner evils, your inner darkness, your inner vengeance, your inner all of that crap, you're never going to truly harness your power. Which one would you rather have? False power or real power?
Mm-hmm.
It's really what it comes down to. I love you guys, and if you are still up, if you're still hanging out, I will be back in an hour at 11 o'clock because I will be doing Breaking the Cage live. And I'm doing it for a little bit of an extended. It's going all the way out to January 7th because I don't plan on talking to you guys on New Year's Eve. Love you guys. See you then. Bye, everybody.